Okay, so welcome back to another edition of the Mike and Renee Show, the Stats edition.
Which is my department, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
I'll add my 2 cents though.
Of course you do.
Of course.
That's good. Hey, we wanted to dive in and we added a number that you probably were missing last week,
Yes.
which is the median sales price, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
good.
talked about, the low inventory and what that could mean, and that we probably, even though we have decreased numbers, that shouldn't affect housing prices because the inventory is still rather low. And this week we're going to show you that, hopefully.
Perfect. Okay, let's dive in. So we're again comparing El Dorado Plaza and Sacramento counties combined to now we have 1 month of stay-at-home orders, really,
More
right?
than, yeah.
That we can look at. So April of 2020, we're comparing to the month before, March 2020, and then April 2020 to last year's April, just to give a little correlation, right?
Yes.
So those numbers are actually interesting. The active inventory is 3,000 active listings right now.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's up 11.3% from last month, and down 25.8%, right? Which
From
was
last
kind of
year.
expected.
Yeah.
Exactly.
so compared to 2019.
Right. Yeah. The pending inventory, which is the future closed, that is actually down 7.6% month over month, and is substantially down from last year, 42.5%.
Which makes sense. April's typically the beginning of the spring market, so we usually do see a lot of pending sales in April. And there's a lot of speculation that we'll probably still see a strong spring market. It will just come in the summer this year.
Yeah.
So
There you
we'll
go.
talk about that in a little bit.
Right. And then the solds, they are down from last month, as expected, really, 31.3%. And if we compare April of this year with April of last year, they're actually down 46%. We had in the 3 counties 1,199 homes that sold, basically.
Right. And the sold number, we've probably got a good amount of pent-up pendings also because we are seeing delays because of COVID. So we've got appraisals that are taking longer. We also have lenders that are definitely overworked at the moment. They've got such low interest rates right now that their volume is huge. And so we are seeing some delays on the closings and getting documents out to the title companies and things like that.
Right.
So
And you can already tell if you look at the numbers, we have 1,448 pending, which is more than we actually had closed this last month.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So
the-
hopefully when we're talking about this next month, we'll have some good close numbers.
Exactly. And the median price, believe it or not, for the 3 counties combined is 439,000 for April 2020, which is slightly up from last month, huh?
Yeah, 438,000 in March of 2020.
Which is nice. It's up, right?
Yes, up is up.
And if you compare April with this year to last year, it's actually up 7.7%.
Okay, so let's dig in on the more local market here, El Dorado Hills and Cameron Park,
Yeah.
and then we'll move on to Folsom.
Exactly, same numbers. So El Dorado Hills, Cameron Park, we have 212 active listings currently, which is exactly the same we had last month. Believe
Oh my
it or
gosh,
not.
that's funny. Exactly the same number.
And year over year, the change is 24% down, really,
Okay.
right?
And then pendings, we've got, we're down 30% month over month and down 48% compared to April of 2019 with April 2020.
Okay. And then to finish up with the solds, we are down 38.4% month over month and 44% just slightly over year over year, right?
And then the pricing.
The pricing, well, the pricing is
Pretty
interesting.
stable,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, and it's interesting to see the difference between the Tri-County area and then digging in a little bit more local. Maybe next week we'll do El Dorado Hills separate from Cameron Park. We just have found that a lot of our clients that are looking in both communities really go back and forth between the two, and Cameron Park is still a little bit more affordable than El Dorado Hills, and so a lot of times people that start in El Dorado Hills will end up in Cameron Park, and so we just lumped them together. But next
Exactly.
week we'll pull them out.
Right.
Right.
So with that said, that 628,000 is the median price for this current month, really, right?
Yes.
Slightly down from last month, which was 630, but somewhat down from last year, huh?
Yeah, actually 3.4% down from last year. We were at 650 in April of 2019. And again, the averages are just that, it's an average. So we may have had higher price listings that sold last April. I know we had several really big closings last April, and so that could be making a difference too. We might just have more of the mid-range price that's selling right now versus the higher end, and so that's going to bring that average down.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
It's not always that we agree, right?
Right, almost never.
That's not true. Okay, let's wrap up with Folsom.
Okay.
Folsom, interesting market. 116 active listings right now, which is actually up 48% from just a month ago.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
seeing a lot of activity with new listings coming on Facebook and in our client searches and things like that too.
Right, and then year over year, it's actually not that significantly down, about minus 5.7%. Right?
Yeah, which is great because that's going to give the buyers that are looking a lot more selection than in some of the other areas. So, yay
Right.
for you Folsom shoppers.
Exactly. And then there's the funny thing again here in Folsom, if you're looking at the pendings, the number of pendings this month and last month is exactly the same
That
at
is
42,
funny,
right? So obviously no change month over month, but they are down significantly from last year again. I think we're seeing a trend here. If you're looking at those numbers, the pendings and sold are all in the 40s with a negative, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
But good news on pricing.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
We were down 46% on the pendings and 48% on the solds, just to wrap up the percentage down. However, the median sold price in April of 2020 is $623, and that is up from March, which was $595. Again, these are averages though, so it's not just like, yay, prices have gone up, let's sell. Although we'd love to help you with that if that's what you decide. So we're up 4.7% month over month and up 4.4% year over year.
So overall, I think those numbers, considering what we're going through right now, and a lot of the uncertainty that we see in the market, pretty strong. I mean, there's still people that need to buy and sell real estate, and
Yes.
I think we talked briefly about how this whole unemployment is gonna affect the housing market in the future, and I think it's just too early to say because we don't know really how many of the businesses, once the stimulus package comes through and once we open up again,
Right.
how many are actually not reopening, and those would obviously be jobs lost indefinitely versus the ones that are
Just
basically
temporary.
just parked, right?
Yes.
Okay, you wanted to talk about the different recessions and
Yes.
what it
So
looks
just
like,
when we're
right?
looking at this, and like we talked about early in the discussion, we are still anticipating that we'll have a good, strong market this year. It's just going to be more of a summer market versus a strong spring market. And there are a lot of economists that are predicting that we have what's called a V-shaped recession versus a U or, I can't remember the other one.
Doesn't
That's
matter
okay.
because that's not
But
what they're predicting.
Right, they're predicting that we'll have a V-shaped recession and recovery. And so basically, real estate accounts for about 16% of the GDP for the United States every year. And I would say, which one did I say yesterday? Was it Goldman Sachs, I think?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, no, it was Morgan Stanley.
Yeah.
Morgan Stanley has and we'll include this slide so you guys can see what we're talking about here too, but they are predicting the biggest downturn in Q2 with as much as
37.9%.
37.9%, but they're also predicting the best upturn in Q3 and Q4 as well, with 20% in the third quarter and then 15% in the fourth quarter. So we hope they're right and that this is just a temporary downturn and that things pick up again with housing being such a big part of that GDP. We're really hopeful that Morgan Stanley is
Right, and
correct.
we often talk about comparing this to like a 2008 financial meltdown versus maybe 9/11, and I think overall we are more in a pause pattern than in a downward spiral where
Right.
everything just goes to. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of folks out there saying that this is more reminiscent of what happened in 2001 when we had 9/11, when we had the dot-com boom or bust rather, because it's a little bit more fear-based than it is actual financial-based. So again, as we start to see what happens with those 20 million jobs that are lost at this moment, we'll really come out of this knowing, okay, is it more of a temporary or long-term adjustment? That we
And maybe
need to make?
next week we'll incorporate some of the economists' charts that really explain how healthy the market was prior to this COVID-19 as opposed to how really bad it was in 2008.
Yeah,
And why we're saying what we're saying.
right.
Right.
Yeah, that
Cool.
makes sense.
Well,
So just to wrap up, I wanted to share some good news as well. So just quickly looking back at the last just 7 days, we actually had in the Tri-County area 541 new listings come on the market. And then out of all of the existing inventory, we had
599, almost 600 that actually went under contract. So
there's
successful
definitely
sales, right?
Yes, there's definitely some success out there for sellers that do need to sell or want to sell. And then in the last 7 days, we also had 373 homes that closed escrow and sold. So good news there. And rates are still amazing. I was out with first-time buyers this weekend, and they got a quote for 2.75% on an FHA loan, even with some challenges on their credit. So definitely still a good time to be out in the market. We took a new listing that's going to be going on the market next week in Blackstone here in El Dorado Hills. So there's definitely still activity, and we're excited to be part of it. And we're excited to help people that need the help.
Well, thank you so much for watching this episode of our Mike and Renee show.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll look forward to bringing you more data in the coming weeks, and then also some fun adventures out with takeout.
Right.
We have to give Chef Mike a break every now and again, so we're doing some What's for Dinner episodes, and those will be coming soon too.
Perfect.
Stay tuned.
And also do us a favor, share and comment below, especially if there's a topic that you would like us to cover that we didn't, or a number that we didn't cover and you would like the number. Right?
Yes, yeah, sounds good. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.